Hi everyone, it's great to see you today. I hope you're well and safe wherever you are. When I was young, my dad used to do a lot of children's events in churches. He would rock up in a church and gather children for 3 evenings or 5 evenings or a long weekend. And along with a colleague of his called Uncle Ben, they would run these special events with lots of children and with quizzes and singing and prizes and stories. They would keep children riveted for hours, and he was absolutely brilliant at doing that. I remember going with him on many, many occasions, and one of the things I used to love him doing, he had a box with a lid and he put on these industrial gloves, and he would say to the children, now in my box there is something that will really, really hurt you. You've got to guess what it is. And of course they would say it's a rat, it's a ferret, it's a snake. They would shout out all these animals and creatures. No. And he would check in his box. No. Put the lid back down, these big huge gloves. And then they would give up, and then he would say, I'll bring it out. Now then, boys and girls, if you be really quiet, I'll bring it out. Please step back, please step back. And he would put his hand inside the box, and out he would pull stingy nettles. And of course, very accurately, what was in the box has got the potential to hurt you, but it wasn't a live creature, fortunately. I don't know if you've ever been hurt in life. We might say, have you ever been stung? You might have been stung by a bee or stung by a wasp or stung financially with buying something that on hindsight you realise you could have bought elsewhere for a lot cheaper. You were stung. But what about the sting that comes from being hurt by the words of someone else? Have you ever been hurt? And if you have, what do you do about it? There is no scientific proof that a dock leaf actually soothes nettle rash at all. But when we're out on our woodland walk and we get stung, we need to sort it out with something. Apparently what we should be doing is washing off the sting and then putting something soothing on. It's instinctive to want to try and take the hurt away, isn't it? And so it is in our lives when we get hurt. How do we deal with it? We need it washed away, and then we need some soothing onto the wound, don't we? And so the washing away of the hurt comes by forgiveness. It's that word again. It's the only known cure for deep, deep hurt. Jesus, when he taught us to pray that Lord's Prayer, that most famous prayer of all, he says that we should pray, Father, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. When we're on a walk and we trespass somebody's property, or we end up in a field that we shouldn't have accessed, that's because we've strayed over a boundary and we didn't perhaps realise we had done it. In our personal lives, it's so possible to stray over boundaries and to do things that we shouldn't have done, or not do things that we should have done. This is called sin in the Bible, and for sin, we need God's forgiveness, which comes through Jesus. And so it is when somebody trespasses against us, so we need to forgive them. They've crossed a boundary. They've entered into this heart of ours and they've wounded it in some way, and we need to forgive them. So when we stray, we need forgiving, and when they stray into our territory, they also need forgiving. I'll never forget that brown box of my dad's. I'll never forget the message that it brought. When you've been stung, you need to be healed. And so I pray today, if you've ever been hurt, don't carry it for a minute longer. And so I pray that you would find that relief and that release in your own lives today. If you've ever been hurt, find the cure, know the healing, and know the peace that it brings. Take care, everyone. Lots of love. Bye.